And we begin here at 5 o'clock with an earthquake swarm off the Oregon coast. More than 50 quakes have been recorded since yesterday, the strongest at magnitude 5.8. While researchers say this is business as usual for a seismically active part of the world, it's still worth paying attention to. Keely Chalmers has the story.
It's happening about 250 miles west of Newport. More than 50 earthquakes have rumbled under the ocean, and they continue to do so. The largest so far of magnitude 5.8, still too small for us to feel. One of the state's leading earthquake scientists says there is no need to be alarmed.
Usually people on shore, all their alarms may go off, but they're not going to feel anything and there won't be any effect.
Chris Goldfinger, a marine and earthquake geologist at Oregon State University, says swarms similar to this happen almost every month in this area.
They're completely normal events. They're sort of like two conveyor belts going side by side, and there's a fault between them.
This map shows the most recent cluster of quakes, indicated by the yellow dots. When you add the quakes from the last 30 years, those are the white dots, there's a lot of them.
So this is a very active fault system. The upper part is moving to the right, the lower part is moving to the left. And here are the earthquakes in that swarm.
The obvious question, are these smaller quakes precursors to a much larger and much more destructive Cascadia subduction zone earthquake?
They're not doing anything to load the subduction zone itself, and they're not precursors of anything, so people can relax about that.
Goldfinger says there's about a 10 to 15% chance of a really big earthquake happening in the next 50 years. If you think that sounds low, consider this.
We're sitting at about the same probability of an earthquake in the next 50 years that Northeast Japan was in 2011.
Right before the magnitude 9 Tohoku quake hit, the most powerful ever in the country. Goldfinger says while we shouldn't be overly concerned about this swarm, consider it a wake-up call to prepare for a quake like the one in Japan here.
And so this is a great time to remind folks that if you're thinking about putting together a go bag or a kit for earthquakes, or thinking about doing more extensive things,
like securing your water heater or retrofitting your home, because the threat is only growing.
Oregon's made a lot of progress, but we've got really a long, long way to go.
Keely Chalmers, KGW News.
We will continue to cover any more shaking off the coast. To stay updated on the earthquakes anytime, visit kgw.com or check out our mobile app. Developing tonight, police are looking for the suspect behind a deadly shooting in Gresham. It happened Saturday afternoon at the Columbia Trails apartment complex on Northwest 15th. A man and two teenagers were shot. One of the victims, a 15-year-old boy, died. Police say he is Logan Ivy of Portland. The other two are expected to survive. No information yet on arrests or a suspect. The largest school district in Southwest Washington has put its superintendent on administrative leave. Evergreen Public Schools Superintendent Mike Merlino will remain on leave until an investigation ends. We can't confirm why the investigation started, but we know it's being conducted by a third party and it's expected to last for a few weeks. In the meantime, the Evergreen School Board is in charge of making decisions for the district. A sweeping statewide program to fight greenhouse gas emissions in Oregon will likely be adopted late next week. It will limit how much greenhouse gas can be put into the air through the burning of fossil fuels, including diesel, gasoline, natural gas, and propane. Affected companies will be forced to cut their emissions 50% by the year 2035 and 90% by 2050, or pay significant fines. Governor Kate Brown said with global warming, it's important to act now. The Environmental Quality Commission will take this up at a special meeting December 16th. It is expected to approve the plan. A longtime Portlander sent hundreds of invitations asking people to help save downtown businesses. Rob Wolf has lived in Portland for 45 years. After seeing the city struggle from the pandemic, riots, and homeless issues, he sent hundreds of emails asking people to spend time downtown this weekend.
That's what downtown needs. It needs people, and people eating in restaurants, and people shopping, people staying in hotels. And the more people that come downtown, the better downtown will be, and the more places will open, and the more places will stay open.
Wolf is inviting people to meet at Director Park this Saturday at noon to shop, eat, and give a boost to business. Protests are among the biggest problems downtown has faced, and tonight one woman is suing the city over how they were handled. Maggie Vespa joins us with a look ahead to the story at 6 o'clock. Maggie?
Yeah, Laurel, that's right. We're talking again with a woman named Liz Vasquez. That name might sound familiar. We met her in May when a study from Kaiser linked tear gas exposure to reproductive health problems. And Vasquez says she started having major problems with her menstrual cycle during the summer of 2020, and she blames it on tear gas exposure. Vasquez says she wasn't at the protests. She was just living her life in Southeast Portland. But last summer, she started having painful cramps and irregularities in her cycle that she had never experienced before. She says it got so bad, she actually had to move miles away.
This was an assault on all of us, and it wasn't just people who were downtown. It was all of us being affected by this. This is an environmental impact.
So Vasquez says she started talking about it, and it turns out, she says, a lot of other women told her they were dealing with the same things. So we're going to talk with her attorney coming up at 6 about what they want to see change in the city of Portland, including restrictions on how and when police can use tear gas. Again, it's coming up at 6 on The Story.
Thank you, Maggie. We'll see you then.
All right.
Conservation groups have increased the reward for information about the 8 wolves that were poisoned in eastern Oregon. It's now almost $43,000. Back in February, an entire pack was found dead, and 3 more poisoned wolves have been discovered since then. Currently, there are only about 170 wolves in all of Oregon. Anyone with information should reach out to Oregon State Police. It was a morning of celebration at PDX. After 2 years of construction, Concourse B has finally opened. Home to Alaska and Horizon Air and their combined 2,300 employees based in Portland, the new concourse is a huge upgrade in both looks and functionality. It features big views, local art, and captures some of the essence of Portland. Chris McGinnis has the story.
The celebration is on. After 2 years under construction, Concourse B is now officially open at PDX.
It looks great.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to see.
Julie and Jacob Peterson were hopping on one of the very first flights out of the new concourse this morning.
And the windows give it a lot of natural light. It's nice.
It makes it feel nice and open in here, yeah.
With 38-foot ceilings and nearly 9,000 square feet of south-facing windows, travelers see a lot.
So we're really excited about local art, local materials, also 500 new seats, and about 300 new charging stations. So it's just a leap beyond what we had with Concourse A before we tore it down 2 years ago.
On the wall hangs the work of local indigenous artist Ryan Feddersen.
And it really reflects this connection with the world that we live in. It's a wonderful piece, and I hope people get a chance to see it.
Battling a pandemic and supply chain issues, the work was completed mostly on schedule and on budget.
And these projects don't happen overnight. It's a big project, and it's one that's been very well managed by the Port of Portland, and our hat is really off to all of our colleagues at the Port of Portland.
It's estimated that about 2,500 passengers a day will pass through the new Concourse B, and all of them have a chance to nab a free pair of Alaska Airlines flights. Just post your #HelloB on social media by the end of January. 5 winners will be randomly selected on February 7th. Chris McGinnis, KGW News.